Welcome back to Out Comes the Sun Radio. And we're excited because we have an amazing guest, Roy Zetisky, who is in South Africa as we speak. So he's on a different time zone, but we share a common heart as far as the love of animals and appreciation for nature. Roy has been photographing the magnificent creatures of South Africa for over 10 years. And besides being a wildlife photographer, Roy is a film director, director of photography, producer, fashion photographer, and musician, and has been a film festival juror, including the International Emmy Awards. Roy studied film on the Brooks Film Institute in Santa Barbara, California, in the 1980s, and has notched up a lot of experience since then. He is a recipient of the South African film industry's Best Mentor Award for his work in transformation, and is also a winner of the Best Cinematography Minute Yuka Award. I might get that wrong. Roy, help me. What is that?
It's the Mnet VUCA Awards.
Mnet VUCA Award. Anyway, we're just so incredibly honored to have you as a guest on our show. And I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your story and how, you've got this incredible organization, My Wildlife, and that's Wild, WYLD. And it's extraordinary. And your photographs are extraordinary. But tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and how you came about making that, getting involved in animals and that whole thing.
I've always been interested in animals and in nature and trying to improve the world and the world around me. So this was actually born out of quite a rough period during COVID, where I went into a bit of a deep depression because my wife and I got separated due to circumstance. She went to America to visit the daughters. I was supposed to follow 2 weeks later. COVID happened in between, and I got stuck here. And the frustration of being alone at home, and I just said to my best mate, let's go on a road trip, and let's go to some game reserves and let's explore, because I don't think any of those elephants out there have COVID and we don't have to worry about it. So let's just hit the road. And it was just wanting to change my life, reinvent. And off we went. And we went to a place called the Addo Elephant Park, where you have huge herds of elephant. And we just sat at the waterhole, and we were one of the few people who'd actually gotten into the game reserve at that point in time. So we had this incredible game reserve to ourselves. We were surrounded by hundreds of elephant at the waterhole, and of course, there were lots of baby elephants, and I love photographing baby elephants. So it was a dream situation for me. And then on the way back to Cape Town, the bug had bitten, and I just wanted to get back into the bush again. And Gondwana Game Reserve had a little special on for South Africans, because obviously tourists weren't coming, and they were very quiet during that period. So I suggested to my mate, Jared, let's go to Gondwana. Let's see if we can get a booking. Of course, we got a booking because they were pretty much empty. And we stayed at Gondwana for a couple of nights. I remembered that an old school friend of mine had a home in Gondwana, had a villa just like this one. And so I called her up and I said, hey, we coming to Gondwana. And she said, hey, you got to come visit. We visited. She said, look, next time you come, you don't stay in the lodge. You can come stay in my villa. Anyway, a few weeks later, I had post-road trip depression. And I called her up and said, oh, I'm feeling a bit low. She said, get in your car and go to the game reserve. Chill out. That's your happy place. Go and be there. I'm not going to be there, but make yourself at home. This is where the key is. Open the door. Help yourself, and which I did. Yeah. And anyway, the situation came about where she ended up, one of the other villas in this free roaming area became available for purchase. And she purchased it. And she said, well, there's a villa for you to now stay in. And this is it. This is where I now stay. And this is a really good school friend from many, many years ago. So she really has opened doors for me. Anyway, eventually I managed to get it together. COVID settled down, and I went to America to visit my family, meet my grandchildren, and when I was there, a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm going for breakfast with this guy Jonathan, and on Friday, and he's quite well connected in the film industry, and maybe you want to come with him." I said, "Sure, I love breakfast." Anyway, I met Jonathan Platt, who fell in love with my wildlife photography, and he asked me to send him a dozen pictures or so, and I did, and he shared them with another partner, Daniel Sater, and he also loved my work, and we started my wildlife.com. And at the time, at our breakfast meeting, he asked me, "What are you doing with all this wildlife stuff?" I said, "Well, I'm working towards a book." And he said, "What's it called?" I said, "It's called My Wildlife." And he said, "Hey, there's something there." And that's how mywildlife.com, wild with it, Y, was born. And I haven't looked back, because I'm now living my best life. This is my happy place. I love being in the bush. And I'm trying to make a difference in a small way, and draw attention to conservation, and draw attention to the plight of animals.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many images, kind of images of your images, which are extraordinary. People need to go on Instagram and the site to look at some of these incredible images. But it reminds me, my grandfather spent so much time in Africa, not South Africa per se, but in Africa with the wildlife. And, it's a profound and different experience, one which I hope to come and do in person with you, by the way. That was
looking
me
forward to that.
to your villa. But there's something about that connection to nature, to wildlife, that is so profound. And, you were talking about the depression of being not doing your heart's desire, right? Not living your best life. And when you're not kind of in sync with what your heart's desire wants, it like sends you down this road that is so challenging. So I applaud you for like hanging in there and getting on course, because it's so important. And it's a reminder, it doesn't matter how old we are, when, we can start living our best life whenever we choose. But it's about, you sort of have to know where your boundaries are, don't you think? Like you
Absolutely.
have to know where things don't work, and then moving into where things do work.
Well, tomorrow's Freedom Day, which commemorates the very first election after the after the apartheid era.
Wow.
So, I think it's, I want to use a Nelson Mandela quote, because he said, "A winner is a dreamer that never gives up."
Yes,
and that. I think those are moving words, and that's kind of almost like a mantra. You just got to keep going. Mm-hmm. and never give up on your dreams, and keep plodding on. And my dream is to have some sort of impact, make a difference, and do something meaningful in my life. I've been involved in advertising and commercials and all that kind of stuff for many years. And you go, "Oh, well, another TV ad," But yeah. I want to do something that, it can make a change, make a difference.
Absolutely.
And I think, if everybody does a little something, we'll make a big change.
That's exactly right. No, it's huge. It's huge what you're doing. And I think there comes a time in your life when you when that shift comes and you go, oh, I mean, Melissa and I, we talk about on our show, and she gives pointers for Feng Shui. And we were talking a few days ago about, like getting rid of what doesn't work anymore in your life, because sometimes for you, it happened kind of naturally. Like you went in the direction that your heart, and then those other things just dropped. It's like, it's not that advertising is bad or this is bad. Nothing's bad.
Not at all.
And
Not
it
at all.
got you to where you are. But it's like at a certain point, it's not fulfilling, right? It's kind of like technology these days. It's wonderful. It's great. We have this connection. We can see you on Zoom. We can, whatever. But the real being in person and really touching the outdoors, seeing it, feeling it, that's the shift that I think is so incredible.
And I think more and more people are shifting in that direction. More and more people are, since COVID, there's such a movement to go live out in the country now and not be in the city, and to change your life and to reinvent your life. And it doesn't matter how old you are.
That's right.
You can just get on with it and try,
Yeah.
And,
well, I also think when you follow your dreams, then you manifest the right, your income supports those somehow. When you really get on the right track, everything falls in line, if you're doing it properly, not avoiding things, but like to me, it's kind of like that's the true manifestation, is like following your heart, your intuition guides you towards these things. And then all of a sudden things just start, like a petal of a flower, just start, unfolding into this life that makes sense for you. I love what you're doing. And you were saying before we went on the air, you were saying that you had some incredible stories of late, like recent things, no?
Yeah, I had an incredible week. Well, I'll go back a little bit. And one morning, I got up and I just had this feeling about elephants, and spent the day, and I was thinking about them a lot. And I was going to go on a game drive that afternoon, and decided, no, I'm just not in the mood. I'm just going to stay at home, watch the sunset, take it easy. I had a late afternoon shower and I felt great. I walked out onto the deck, and there was this elephant. His name is Mabitsi. He's one of the large males. We have one of the herds is called the Ladies Club, and it has two males that kind of travel with these ladies. And Mabitsi was all alone, standing in the plains, and Mabitsi acknowledged me with his trunk. He kind of raised it up like this and acknowledged me. And then he started to pose, and out came my camera, and he turned this way like a model does. He turned this way, put his trunk out this way, turned this way, put his trunk out that way. And he was posing for me. And there was this chemistry. There was this connection, and I felt it. And my Betsy felt it. And it went on for quite a while. And eventually the sun set, and my Betsy acknowledged me the same way, and then just wandered off towards the sunset, and that was it. But it's an experience I'll never forget. Because it was just so moving and that is, in fact, one of the photographs from that session has just made the shortlist of the South African Photographer of the Year competition. So
Congratulations.
it's kind of doing a bit of a full circle now. So it's reminding me about Mabitsi. But 2 nights ago, I was chatting on FaceTime, and I heard noises in outside, and I thought, "Oh, that's weird. What's making a noise out there?" And I went to my side window, and there was Mabitsi, breaking up the garbage enclosure. We recycle everything at Gondwana. So we have organic waste, we have normal recycling, we have normal waste, etc., etc. And Mabitsi had smelt that organic waste, and he wanted that as a snack. So he literally tore apart the entire garbage thing. He was by himself. The rest of the herd weren't there, and pulled out this bag of organic waste and went about eating it all. I managed to get some video and everything. It was very exciting, right outside my window. But completely destroyed. He took one of the garbage cans, squeezed it, and it disintegrated. Anyway, we looked at each other through the window, and he kind of looked at me, and then he kind of, I think he saw me, and then he wandered off into the night. But the damage was done. So last night I'm chatting to my wife on FaceTime, and I go, hang on a second, noises again. And I go to the window, to the front window outside there, that walks out onto the deck. And my whole house is surrounded by these 7 elephants. And they've completely encircled the house. And now my Bitsy's back there and obviously telling them, hey, there's treasure over here. There might be a nice snack for all of us. But they're busy eating of the grass, and they try to push over a tree on the side of my house. But this is it. I live in their world. So I'm, I just accept, okay, the garbage enclosure's smashed. We'll deal with it. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
But this is their world. But it's very exciting to have elephants surrounding your house. And it was quite an exciting week for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's crazy. But these are the experiences of living in the bush. And I'm, my wildlife, the whole idea of my wildlife is to give viewers and people who do join the tribe the same kind of experience. I'm taking them on drives with me and sharing some of my daily experiences. There's a video that went out today, actually, on my wildlife, on all the social media things, about a cheetah that also kind of almost befriended us. My friend Jared had come to visit me from Cape Town, and we took a little drive just 2 villas away, and there was this cheetah. And he came and he lay in front of the vehicle, and he rolled over, almost like rubbed my tummy, like kitties do, because they are just big kitties.
Yes.
And we followed him, but I'd heard about the fact that he'd lost his partner. Sorry, she had lost her partner, who'd run off with another man, with another cheetah.
Wow.
And she was putting out these little whistling sounds and looking all over the place, trying to find her partner. So it was this like love affair that we were witnessing, and this jealousy and it was just incredible, because these were all kind of human traits, things we understand as humans. But she'd lost her partner, and she was totally upset, and you could see she was distraught. And the sad end of the story was that a couple of days later, she ran into the lions, and a cheetah is no match for the lions. So they just somehow ended up in the same place at the same time. And, you try as much as you can to remove yourself from that emotion, but I was in tears. This really hurt me, this losing this cheetah, because it had become so close. So the next day after it was at my vehicle, we were going on a morning game drive. And Jared went out onto the deck early morning, 5 a.m, coffee, that kind of thing. He walked out the door. He said, Roy, come outside. The cheetah's sitting in front of the deck. It had come back to me. And I said, Jared, what are you talking about? Don't joke. It's too early for jokes like this. He said, no, the cheetah's in front of the deck. Anyway, I ran outside, and there it was. And again, it was trying to get onto the deck. It looked like it needed a hug, because it was really missing its partner. It was feeling alone in the bush. And it was feeling kind of a little bit hopeless. And you could see those emotions were coming through. Anyway, and then the next day it was gone. It was, so it's life in the wild. You kind of experience the ups and the downs.
Absolutely. And this connection to wildlife and how our behavior, we do have similar behavior. There is these connections that you have with your partner, your love, your this, your that. And I think I think what you're doing is profound for people to really understand that we are all interconnected, the animal world, the human world, all of it. We're the plant world. We have this synergistic marriage or dance that we do that we've forgotten about because, life has taken over and we live in the big cities and we're inundated with technology. But that is your stories are so powerful because they resonate with us as humans, as a connection to the animal world, and you're reminded of that connection. Are you still doing film?
Well, I am I'm working on a little documentary. It's a working title is called Life Lessons from the Wild. And I'm basically comparing human behavior to animal behavior. And I'm looking at very smart animals like elephants elephants are incredibly smart. And I'm really delving deeply into their behavior and what we can learn from them. Humans seem to have lost the track a little bit in some ways. And I'm trying to see, when I watch how they handle birth and I watch how they handle death, they've got rituals for both of those. And when a little elephant is born, the whole herd is moved by this experience, and they all come around and help prod it up and help it stand up and get its first feet, kind of thing. And that is incredible to watch. It's like, it's like when we have somebody has a baby, your friend has a baby, you all arrive and you come, you bring gifts, and it's similar in its own way, and they just have this wonderful way of caring. They've got a lot more kind of neurons than we do. Their brains obviously a lot bigger, and a lot of their capacity is about memory, really. They remember everything. And that's why I think Mabitsi knows me. And there is one of the rangers in Gondwana actually is in love with Mabitsi. And she's mad about Mabitsi. In fact, she's tattooed Mabitsi onto her arm. And I'm doing a bit of a little story on her for my wildlife, because she's just so connected to this animal. And there are, I've got another friend that's coming to visit me tomorrow, and she's having to put her cat down today. And we build such a connection with our animals.
Yes.
And for me, it's whether they're domestic or wild, it doesn't matter. There's still a connection. And that's why I was moved by the parting of this cheetah. As much as my friend Melissa is moved by having to put her cat down. And I had another experience with a little baby giraffe that I'd photographed, and the next day it also was gone. And so I'm being open about those relationships and those positions in terms of the posts that go out in my wildlife. I'm wanting people to understand that I'm not just outside looking in. I'm part of this world of the animals, and I'm trying to make a stand for them, because the extinction numbers are reducing at an alarming rate. And who else is going to stand up for them but the few humans that care? So conservationists that do all the work, and game reserves like Gondwana, the owners are incredible, the work they've done. And their mission is to try and reverse that extinction process in their little world, in their small way. And, we have a link on mywildlife.com to Gondwana Game Reserve and the Gondwana Conservation Foundation, which is a non-profit fund, where viewers and listeners can go and donate. And they can donate even small change, even a couple of dollars, because, if everybody, a million people donate a couple of dollars, we can make a big change. They say small change can make a big change if it's in big numbers. So, please encourage your listeners to help us make a difference, because they can be part of the change. And I think we're in that time of mankind where there are people that are really making a lot of effort to make a difference now, seeing the world for what it is. And and seeing that we're all part of the universal energy.
Yeah.
You know, as you mentioned, Mariel, about the plants and about the animals and everything, we're all part of it. And we're all connected in one way or another. And you know, this is, so I'm just finding myself in this place. I almost feel like I've been led here and that I'm just doing the work. It's almost, you know, I just feel like I'm the hand and somebody else is controlling it and making the painting, you know, it's like that feeling. And so, yeah, if there are other people out there that can help, it would really be appreciated.
Absolutely. Melissa.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure that you have something to ask.
I was thinking about the connection that you have with the animals and the work that you're doing. But I think that what the majority of people do not understand, excuse me, outside of the images that you provide and the beauty that you capture, and that titillates us. But on a serious note, I think what we're missing, those of us on the outside, don't understand that the extinction of these animals is detrimental to our livelihood everywhere. People have this connection like, oh, well, if the cows die, if the cows go into an extinction, what are we going to eat? They really have a myopic view on extinction, not understanding that the obliteration of the rainforest in Brazil damages our air up here in the North America. The extinction of our animals, regardless of where they are, the polar bears, the animals in Africa, this is a detrimental outcome for all of us. So this is more than aesthetics and momentary coffee book beauty titillation. This is really substantial and impressive and impactful work that you're doing. So I really want to applaud you on bringing recognition to this, and we want to support you as much as possible because we know how important it is.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely important. It's you know, the biggest cause of the reduction in numbers and the movement towards extinction is humankind.
Yes.
And irony is that it's up to the humans to actually try and reverse that and fix that.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for those humans that are out there making that difference. So the conservationists, the private game reserves who will take animals in and really try and create a biodiverse environment that allows for more birth and more animals to increase in numbers. You know, hats off to them, because they are the ones that we have to support. And
yes.
and so, you know, I'm finding myself more and more immersed in this world, and the deeper I go, the more I realize how much work needs to be done.
I
So,
want to note something.
you know,
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, you know, carry on.
I wanted to note something that those listening in on the show they're not witnessing. So if they get a chance, I want them to go to anywhere they can find us on video. And because you as you and Mariel were speaking earlier about working towards your passion and the impact that it has on your happiness level, I would like to note, just from a microscopic glimpse here, of the physiological change. As you're speaking about your work on any level, the smile that spreads across your face, your back straightens up, this physiological change that happens is so beautiful to witness, that I know it has this impact on your life and the world that you're living in. I want to note it, because it really is a beautiful thing to watch you smile, and the joy that spreads across your face when you're talking about your work.
Yeah. And
Well, you know,
also you sharing that makes, you know, I felt the same. I was like, oh my gosh, there, you know, you resonate with what you're saying, and it spreads. That's part of the spreading of joy, of happiness, and all that stuff. So what you're doing has an impact on our mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
well, my own mental well-being is I witness miracles every day. And it's incredible, the miracles I witness every day in the wild. And you know, I think it was Einstein who said, you can either live your life as if everything is a miracle, or as if nothing is a miracle. And if you become in tune with the miracles that that are in your life, you start appreciating them more and more. And that brings on gratitude. And as you know, the energy of gratitude is enormous.
Yes.
So I am extremely grateful for the situation that I'm in, and for being in this position to share some of what I witness, the miracles I witness every day, with people out there who are interested.
It's incredible. Wow. We are blessed. We are fortunate to have you as a guest. We are fortunate to have you on the planet. Your stories are just, they're almost intoxicating. You kind of get, I feel like we've gone down this road with you, and you're a great storyteller. So thank you for that, because there's this ability to see the seven, the seven elephants around your house. And I got chills as I was thinking about it, and like, I love it. The elephant taking the organic matter is like, hey guys, there's all kinds of treats here.
It was like a dessert for.
I see a future Out Comes the Sun podcast live with Roy in South Africa.
I see it
That's
too.
what I see it too.
Have microphone will travel.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that visit.
Oh,
And
amazing.
Just us talking about it puts it on our vision board.
That's right.
Instantly.
Absolutely.
And
that's right.
We can materialize that.
Yes.
The thing about animals is they do things instinctively. So they've got this, they instinctively want something, go for it, get it, do it.
Yes.
We humans are a bit spoiled for choice in these days. So we kind of want that, but we go, oh, maybe I should rather have that. And I'm not sure about that, because have I checked the reviews, and is this all right, or should I go there, or should I do? How are we ever going to manifest something if we don't have a clear vision of what we want and how we're going to get it? And that's what I'm learning from animals. They want this, they want to go there, they go there. They want to do this, they do that.
Yeah.
Should I, shouldn't I? And then a lot of people just sit on their couch and never do it.
Yeah.
Do what what their dream is or what they want to do. And so I've tried to, so vision boards are a great help for humans to clarify what it is that they're dreaming about and what it is that they want.
Absolutely.
And funnily enough, on my vision board from 3 years ago, I have a picture of myself photographing the elephants in this environment. And when I come to this environment, it looks like that environment on my vision board.
That's
and
awesome.
It's magic, you know, and I go, well, that's how it works. And it's just a tool to help me be clear on what I want.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Roy. We have to have you come back and tell us more stories, because you're extraordinary. My Wildlife, WYLD, is a platform that explores amazing images and intimate experiences of wildlife through the lenses of the celebrated photographer and filmmaker, Roy Zetisky, located in some of Africa's most exotic game reserves. So thank you so much, Roy. This has been an extraordinary time for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And next, Melissa is going to give us a tip for our show on Out Comes the Sun. So everybody out there, stay tuned for Melissa's